All right, B'siyata Shema, we're now going to start the conclusion of Shachris, beginning with, of course, Ashrei Lam Natzech and Avodat Tzion. Very interesting idea. I'm not going to go through too much of Ashrei word for word, because we've kind of done that in the past in regards to Pesukah de Zimra, of course. But I do want to point out a few interesting ideas. There's a famous Gemara in Brachas, all of us have learned not so long ago. The Gemara says, Daf Hey, that a person that recites Ashrei 3 times a day is muftach lo, it's guaranteed that he gets a portion in Olam Haba, in the world to come. Now, if you look at the Aruch HaShulchan, the Aruch HaShulchan has a fascinating idea and explanation to what is the whole idea of Ashrei, and of course, Lam Natzech and Avodat Tzion at the end of Shachris. So the Aruch HaShulchan explains that each Ashrei actually corresponds to a Kedusha, and it's similar to a Kedusha, because Ashrei is full of psukim that describe the greatness, the gadlus of the Rabbeinu Shalom, and how the Rabbeinu Shalom is so amazingly elevated and separate to the rest of all the beings. For example, Gadol Hashem Hulal Ma'od. The Rabbeinu Shalom is great, amazing. Dar Dar Yishabach Ma'asecha. Every generation we praise you. Hadar Kavoy Doidecha. The splendorous glory of your power, right? And the wondrous deeds I discuss, right? We've got amazing things over here. Chanun v'racham Hashem erach apayim v'gedol chesed toiv Hashem lakol v'racham over kol maasav eine kol alecha yisabeh v'ato noisa nehem es ochem etern, of course, paisecha zedecha u'mespira chol charotzeit. So Ashrei is packed full. Without going through each individual pasuk, which we have done previously, it's so full of describing the Rabbeinu Shalom's greatness. Therefore, says the Aruch HaShulchan, every Ashrei is similar to Kedusha. So we do it twice during Shachris, corresponding one to the Kedusha that we do during the Chazaros HaShatz, and the other one to the Kedusha de Siddur, which is coming up by Avodat Tzion. We do it once in Mincha to respond to the Kedusha that we say during Chazaros HaShatz in Mincha. And in Ma'ariv, of course, there's no Kedusha, which is why we don't say Ashrei. So says the Aruch HaShulchan, such a fascinating idea to try to understand that it is a very, very beautiful thing, and there was a specific reason why it was Masakin over here as well, to say it over here. Now, moving on to Lam Natzech. Lam Natzech also very, very interesting. The Aruch HaShulchan over here explains that this is actually a continuation of davening for our Parnasa. Right, and that's why specifically Yancha Hashem b'Yom Tzora, which we'll get to in a moment, it's a very important thing. Chazal were masakin that we should say this. Why? Because in Tehillim there are 19 chapters. There are 19 mizmorim from the beginning of Sefer Tehillim until this mizmor, until Lam Natzech, which we say Ashrei Avodat Tzion. Right? Keneged, the 19 brachas that we say every single day in Shemona Esra. Just like a person says to his friend, Tiskabel tfilasecha, or in English, your tefillahs, your prayers should be answered, so to David HaMelech, after singing 19 shiros, 19 sishbachos, said, Yancha Hashem b'yom tzara. And that's why it's an amazing thing. Specifically, some write that this Lam Natzech, it's a very important thing to say. It was specifically Masakin for our Parnasa, right? Because there's an Indian for a person to daven for his Parnasa every single day. And this is the Mizmah that David HaMelech said when Klal Yisrael needed Parnasa. Right? And that's from the very fact that it says Yancha Hashem b'Yom Tzora, we don't say it on a day that there is no Tzora. So for example, we won't say it on Shabbos, Yom Tov, Rosh Chodesh, Erev Pesach, Erev Yom Kippur, Chanukah, Purim, all these sorts of things, because these are happy days. And therefore we only say it on a day that there could be a possibility of a Tzora, or there was a Tzora, but not on a day that's a Simcha or a Yom Tov, or something to do with that. So let's just go through some of the words. Really beautiful. Now that we know some of the introduction, maybe we'll go through the words, but I'll tell you maybe what we'll do. I think we'll do that tomorrow. Be'ez Hashem tomorrow. Now we have an introduction to Ashrei Am Lam Natzech. Tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, we're going to go through the words of Lam Natzech, and then we'll move on to something very important, and that is, of course, Avodat Tzion.